The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon and good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's IN.FORM Coaches webinar. My name is Shandy Hatfield, and I work here at Nature Sunshine's home office. And we have a great webinar for you today. We have a panel of experts, IN.FORM Coach experts, here to help answer your IN.FORM questions that you might have. So let's go ahead and just get started. I've received some questions through Facebook. We also have kind of our most frequently asked questions that we're going to answer today. And I also encourage you to type in your questions into the little question box on your panel, and we will just answer as many questions as we can today. So I do see that a bunch of you are already starting to type those in, so keep them coming and we will get them answered. All right, so let's introduce our panel today. So on our panel we have Dale Scott joining us from Kansas. We have Judy Pladna joining us from Iowa, and Tess Hankey joining us from Wisconsin. So welcome to our panel. We're glad that you're all here. And we're just going to give each of you just a minute or two to introduce yourself a little bit. So let's start with you, Dale.
Great, thank you. I am Dale Scott from Galena, Kansas. I am a national manager with Nature Sunshine. IN.FORM has been a big part of our program for health. And one of the things that I hope that all of you coaches are seeing, that IN.FORM does much more than weight loss. It is a drawing card, and it is a tool to bring people to you that maybe you would not otherwise have opportunity. So thank you for having me.
Awesome, welcome. Thank you, Dale. Judy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I am from Dubuque, Iowa, and I have been with IN.FORM since the very beginning of the program. And I'm an area manager with Nature Sunshine. And I really am enjoying developing other coaches underneath me. I love to inspire and motivate and support others to follow their dreams. And I'm excited that my passion is, bringing me prosperity. What better role to be in than to gain health for myself and my family and my community and show others how to teach the same, and we get paid to do so. So it is such a great opportunity for me and for my team that I'm building. I love it.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Judy. We're glad you're here. Tess, tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, thank you, Shandy. I'm glad to be here today. I am the district manager with Nature Sunshine. I live in north central Wisconsin. I'm also a functional nutritionist, and I use IN.FORM as a platform to really engage my clients. Sometimes I use IN.FORM as an extension of the office visits that they're already having with me, and in other ways I actually hold regular IN.FORM classes like other coaches, and it's an opportunity to introduce the natural health approach and that foundation. As I've been using IN.FORM, it has grown my Nature Sunshine business. It has grown my practice as well, and as Shandy and I were speaking earlier, I actually have a waiting list this spring. So that is super exciting for me, and I'm really excited to share that with all of you today, because as Judy said, it's a wonderful blessing to be able to not only share health, but share the prosperity from teaching others about health.
Great. Thank you so much, Tess. We are so glad to have all of you here today on our panel, and really these ladies are very experienced coaches and will do a great job at answering all of your questions that are already coming into the question box, so I'm pretty excited about that. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to start with just 4 most frequently asked questions that we get here at home office. So let's start with these, and then we'll jump to your questions that you've typed in. So the first question that I want to ask is, how do you pitch or introduce the IN.FORM program? Like, what are the ways that you introduce that to people? So let's go ahead and start with Dale.
Okay, thank you. I think that's one of the hardest things, and it's not a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to build our own confidence up. So depending on where you are, if you happen to be a hairdresser, you have an opportunity to visit with someone regarding the importance of nutrition, and you bring them in. depending on if you work in a doctor's office, then you're going to be talking about, you're going to be talking with people that may have other challenges. One of the greatest things that has helped me and people that I have shared with, we have, and Nature Sunshine has given it to us, and probably Shandy, you have it, but I make them little postcards, and it shows, I call them the Christmas balls, but it shows metabolic syndrome features, and it helps to build up the coach's confidence, because it's the one that says, is your waist circumference too much, blood pressure, triglycerides, HDL, blood sugar, or fatty liver, or overweight. So it always works very well if you ask for referrals. So you can just have that in your hand, and you can say, well, would you happen to have any issues with this, or maybe you could give me a referral. Do you know anybody that our program might be, be able to help? So if you would just give me a referral. Every single time people look at that and they say, no, wait a minute, well, yeah, I have this and this, my husband has that, and that opens the door for me to let them know, whatever we're doing, whether it's a one-on-one, but to help them, to bring health to them and their family.
Great. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. You kind of have a little tool that you use.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great. Let's go to you next, Judy.
Sure. I pitch IN.FORM as a game plan for life. This is not a fad. I'm going to supply them with tons of education on how to gain health through their gut. We're going to use food right from the grocery store. There's lots of programs out there that have boxed meals and things, but are you going to buy those forever? You're going to shop from the grocery store forever. That's what's sustainable, and that's the cornerstone of our program. Besides the best supplements you can get your hands on for only $8 a day, we're going to work with food right out of your local grocery store. And who can I help? 80% of the people are walking around with metabolic dysfunction. So 8 out of 10 people that I know, I'm able to help. So then I just put the ball in their court and I ask them, who would you like me to help? And sometimes they give me names of people that they know, and other times they say, me, when can I start?
Awesome. I love that approach, and really it is something we're teaching people skills of how they're going to that really appeal to everybody, I guess, that we all need to learn how to eat foods that are going to give us that health, and a lot of people do struggle with that metabolic dysfunction, so it really appeals to a lot of people. I love that. All right, Tess, let's hear from you.
Okay, well, in my community, I spend a lot of time out speaking at various events. There are a lot of organizations that really are always looking for qualified speakers. There's moms groups, there's ladies groups in churches, there's groups for people who are suffering from various issues, like for instance fibromyalgia groups. And as an example, last night I gave a presentation to the parents and staff of a daycare center. So I don't charge for this. This is an opportunity for me to get out and share a health building program, and that's how I really view and come at IN.FORM. In the beginning, when I first started to coach this program, I saw so many health building opportunities happen and so many changes in people's health that it just became very apparent very quickly that this was much more than a weight loss program. And so I really pitch it as a health building program, as a foundation for health education, so that you can get healthy now and maintain your health forever. And so getting out and speaking to people and letting them know about what I do and this program and how it can change them, that's been a really big boon for me. I also host open houses at my office where I teach the classes. So before I ever start a class, when I set it up on my schedule or my group, I actually plan about 2 weeks ahead to have an open house, and at that open house I actually give a presentation, and that's usually where most of my participants actually sign up that are coming into the group outside of my practice. So, and then I also use the groups as an extension of my practice for clients who need to have further coaching and education. I'm able to utilize those weekly educational classes to help further the knowledge that they need to continue on their health platform as well. So it's really, there are so many ways that we can utilize IN.FORM. It's really customizing it to you and where you're at, and as far as building confidence to speak, I'm a pure believer in that if you believe in what you're speaking about, if you are passionate about what you're speaking about, the people that you are speaking to will believe it, and they will become passionate and want to do it too.
Absolutely. That passion that you have for something really is very contagious. So yeah, those are some great tips on how to pitch it. Thank you, ladies. So, okay, our next question, we have a lot coming in, so I want to make sure we are rolling along here. So our next one is, how do I fill my groups? And maybe some of the things we've talked about already kind of fit that, but do you ladies have any other tips that you want to share on filling your groups?
You know, this is Dale, and I may just mention something that I thought of. We talk about it being for health, so that's, you know, that is number one. That's who we're about. That's who Nature Sunshine is about. It is longevity and health and vitality. Now, as far as filling my groups, when I am able to share the successes of people that have been in our groups, then that gets people's attention. So I have pictures of people. One lady, for instance, she's down 84 pounds. Her metabolic age started at 86. It is now 24. You know, so I have those handy to let them know. She was on 7 medications. She's off of all of them. She was pre-diabetic. Her kidneys were not functioning completely, and now they are. So I think our success stories really, we need to use those. They're of great value.
Absolutely. Yeah, those testimonials really say more than we could ever say, because it's really like the proof in the pudding there of the success of the program. So awesome. Judy or Tess, do you want to share anything on filling your group?
Absolutely. I have just a few things that work out great for me and my team. The first is a flyer. You know, fill that out, print it out, leave them everywhere. And my tip on flyers is to take them to your local print shop and make them smaller. You know, get 4 on a page. Those smaller flyers will fit in purses and wallets and pockets, plus the places of business that you're going to leave them at will not mind if they're small on the counter. They don't want a big old 8 by 11 sheet of paper laying there cluttering up their front desk. So flyers are very helpful. Next is go digital with Facebook. Get on there and create an event and make sure you have it as public, not private, and put just a little tips and little motivational things on there and little blips about what IN.FORM is to lure people into that open house. So Facebook event for an open house to learn about IN.FORM and see if it's the program for you, and once they've got them in the door, you can get them registered that night. Next is referrals. You have to ask for referrals. Ask every day and just use those words. Who would you like me to help with their health? So ask for referrals. And last, I always have a challenge. I take 3 of our mini brochures with us, or maybe it's 3 business cards with me every day. I'm out and about talking and, you know, dropping kids off and running errands and even being at work. And so the challenge is to not come home with those brochures or business cards, to make sure to make 3 connections every day. And how you do that is you stop and listen. People love to complain. So if they're complaining about their sinuses and they're cold, boom, that's an opportunity for IN.FORM. If they're complaining about being tired all the time, that's an opportunity to give them a brochure about IN.FORM. So listen to people complain and hand them those brochures, and don't return home with them in your pocket. Make sure they're in their pocket.
Awesome. I love that idea, and maybe we can all take that challenge. I mean, the packs of the mini brochures are very inexpensive. A pack of 50 for $2.50. You could try that out, pass 3 out a day, and just start making those connections with people. So I love that. I'll let Tess go in just a second, but one follow-up question is, someone asked, where can you find the flyers? So I hope that you're all members of our IN.FORM Facebook group that is on Facebook. It's called IN.FORM Coaches Forum. If you're not, go ahead and send a request to that group and we can get you added. But basically, we've got a file section, and there is a bunch of flyers, and we actually have one that is 4 to a page, kind of a smaller flyer that you can print right from there. So all right. And Judy, do you create your own flyer, or do you just use one of our pre-made flyers?
Both, depending on what's going on. I think our pre-made flyer is also on the coaches portal under resources. I'm pretty sure it's there in a PDF form as well. But I've taken that flyer and I've used that before in a pinch, or if I've got the time to kind of design something up with my own logo and my own sort of attention-getting picture that I got off of, the internet. So I've played around with both. But I mean, if you're just starting and you're not savvy, that one that we have is wonderful to use. So go for it.
Great, thank you. And Tess, let's hop over to you. Do you have any tips for filling groups?
Sure, I have a couple to add, and actually thank you ladies both. I always learn too when I am on these webinars as well. There's always room for improvement and to learn new things, so I appreciate you guys sharing with me as well. Talking about testimonies that Dale was talking about, one of the things that I have found to be really successful is that I always make sure to invite several of my past participants to my open houses prior to my classes. I find that they are really excited to share what IN.FORM has done for them. And, they are out speaking to the people in their life, in their world, but when they get a chance to come in, I ask them to come in, help me maybe set up for the program, offer them a little incentive to do so, and then make sure that I have their permission before I give the presentation. But if I have their permission, then during the presentation, I let them give their testimony, and I think that that in itself is had been a phenomenal way for me to share testimonies with others. And then just kind of building on Judy's discussion about Facebook, as I was speaking before that I do a lot of public speaking in my community, I always make sure to connect with the host of the place where I'm going to be speaking, and they usually have their own Facebook pages or websites, and so I always check and have them set up an event for me also, so that we're getting extra exposure. Both of us are getting that information out to the people that we're going to be serving. And for those who asked the question about building the flyers, if you do want to create something that's a little bit more personal and you're just starting out, and of course finances are always something that we want to watch very carefully, there is a website that a lot of people use to create free flyers and free Facebook posts. It's called Canva. And you can go there. You can have a professional account, but they do have a free account, and you can use a lot of their free pictures and layouts, and they make it really simple, and they have some tutorials, and I'm sure there's probably some other websites out there as well, but there's some tools available. We just have to know where to find them.
I second that, Tess. Canva, C-A-N-V-A, is an awesome app that I use as well for creating those kinds of things. So it's a great tool.
Awesome. I think that's fantastic. Those are some great tips. So a couple people have asked just what that site was. So it's C-A-N like Nancy, V like Victor, A.com.
That's correct.
So hopefully that will help you out. I know that can be really helpful, a great tool. So, all right, let's see here. Let's go to our next question. Okay, this is one that we hear quite a bit still, is how much do I charge? Do you ladies have some insight and what you've found is works? And maybe we can have, Dale, do you want to go first on that?
Okay, sure. I have done various ways, and the success, I find that when I believe that it's successful, it will be. And I always encourage people, when you hear what someone else is charging, just ask yourself this question. You know, the homes that people live in around you, and what is your market? So, you know, if your market, the homes, if they sell for, you know, $600,000 and that's your circle, well, then you know it makes sense you're going to charge more than if it's $100,000. So I think getting that, I think that's going to really help, because we hear somebody that's charging $600 and that sounds like, oh, I want to do that. Then we think the program didn't work if we didn't have any takers. So the group that I'm working with right now, what we did as an incentive is I encouraged them for a challenge, and the challenge, instead of it being 13 weeks, I've stretched it out for 16, and everybody paid $50 extra, and we put it in a pot, and somebody's going to win $500 at the end of that 16-week period. And the only reason you could do it with your 13 weeks. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to just stretch it, and I took a couple of weeks on week 1, and then I took a couple of weeks on the stress and the glandular. So that's why I stretched that out. I have done it just 13 weeks. That works beautifully. You do not have to do that. Some people will like to do it for 6 weeks, you know, so they'll do maybe 2 modules a week. But I think whatever works for you in your area, you know, somewhere around the $200, $250, something like that seems to work really well for people. You know, I know of coaches that are charging, you know, much more than that. I know I have done it for free before. And I have a store, so let's talk about why would I do it for free. Of course, I did it for free when I was not sure what to charge like the rest of you, but I had 20 people. So when 20 people are all on the product, then I could do it for free because I signed up 20 new people. So you have to take a look at that. You know, if you're legacy and you're getting 40% of the kit, if they're on the kit, so that's $80 every time you sign somebody up, you know. So I'm just going to say there is not a wrong or right answer. Feel what is right in your spirit, and don't charge more than what your market can pay.
Yes, Dale, I agree. And the way that I feel out, the way that I feel out the market is something kind of a quick kind of flippant answer that I give to my new coaches in different areas. I ask them, what is Weight Watchers charging in your area? Most of the time it's $15 a week, so I find that to be kind of the perfect number for IN.FORM in my area. So we charge $195 for the 13 weeks, and we have no problem getting that. And they also don't bat an eye at purchasing the $240 kit. You know, if I was in an area where Weight Watchers was half that price, then I would set my IN.FORM maybe that price, and then know that maybe they were going to, you know, not quite bite at the $240 kit, but maybe you could start with, you know, 4 bags of protein and probiotics minimally. So you can make IN.FORM fit any budget and any you know, meet the needs of the people in your area. But that's always my first question is, what's around you? What's being offered? Is the hospital offering a weight management program? How long is it? How much does it cost? So I kind of compare it with other programs in the area, and you might just want to be a buck or two below it just to say, well, ours is just a little bit cheaper, yet ours is clinically proven. So you can spend money on any program, but would you rather spend it on mine that's clinically proven to give you the results that you seek? So you've always got that leg up over the competition, but that's how I decide for people where they are, what to charge, is I usually quickly ask, how much is Weight Watchers a week? And, you know, it seems to come in around $15 a week, but you charge less, you charge more, you know, don't outprice yourself, and it is okay to discount the program, but make sure that people know that they're getting a deal. If you want to do it for free, do it for free, but let them know this is a $250 program that I'm going to do for free for you. That way when you want to go back and charge someday, you can, because you've already set the value of the program. So right now, sometimes we need to fill a group that's a little short on participants, or maybe I have a brand new coach coaching and she's pitching to her soft market, which would be her friends and her family and her neighbors. That's when we'll drop our price down to $149. But we start with, this program in our area costs $195, but for you, it's only $149. That way you've got that wiggle room the next round to charge $195, and you haven't sort of blocked yourself into a free class forever or a discount forever. So that's how we go about it.
I agree with Judy. I definitely look in my area at what Weight Watchers is charging, and in my area it's also 15. So 195 is the most common average charge that I charge for the class. I also look at, we have several hospital-driven programs here and doctor chiropractor-driven programs here that are quite expensive and also require prepackaged food and quite an investment. And statistically, we're seeing that people go through these programs are losing a lot of weight very quickly, but as soon as they get off the program and go back to cooking for themselves, they're putting that weight right back on. So I make sure that that's part of my conversation with my new participants that might be wavering a little bit because, you know, they've heard that they might get faster results with another program. So that's something to keep in mind. So like Judy said, I think it's very important to know what's in your area and what people around you are charging. I don't have any problem getting 195 in my area either. Occasionally I do have to work with someone and their budget so that they can attend the class and afford to buy the products as well. But it usually all comes out in the end to work out very well. And I also think that for most of us, there are certain types of people, if you will, for lack of a better way to say it, that we attract. As coaches, we are going to each have an audience that we're probably more comfortable with, that we resonate with a little bit more. And so sometimes once you figure that out, you'll start to see on average you will have some people that have a lot of similarities. And so recognizing that can start to help you to set some guidelines on what's appropriate for charging and conducting your class setups as well. That will have something to do with it too, I believe.
Great. Yeah, these are all some really great insights. So there's no right or wrong amount that you can charge, but just kind of take some of these things under consideration, and that should definitely help. So, all right, let's go ahead and go on to the next question. All right, so the next one is, how do I develop new coaches? And does one of you want to start with that?
Judy, why don't you do that?
Sure, no problem.
I agree.
So my coaches have happened 2 ways. A little bit organically, being that they are participants and they have just rocked the program themselves, and I just see it in them that they are just that spark where they just want to share with everyone they know and they want to change the world. And so I just plant that seed that you have done so well with IN.FORM. I think you'd make an excellent coach. Do you have an hour a week? You know, you're coming to class anyway, an hour a week, so I know you've devoted that time the last 13 weeks. How about, you know, starting your own group and getting paid to do so? So that's how mine have naturally happened. However, the tides are turning a little bit as I've built my team and I'm more confident in approaching people to maybe become a coach. I've started that conversation, and again, you just learn to listen. I will have someone among me complaining that they could use an extra, you know, $400, or they're a little tight on cash, and so I'm just meeting them with a need. They've expressed a concern, I have a solution, and I break it down for them. I tell them, you need $400 a month. Do you think you could move 4 IN.FORM kits, or do you think you could coach 2 people a month? And there's their $400. So I just show them where they can kind of quickly bring in that money. And then later I explain to them how inactive income rolls in from continuing to teach. And we all know that once people transform their lives with IN.FORM or Nature Sunshine, they continue to be a member for a long, long time. And it's just wonderful. Now, the tools that I have developed to help them, anything that I find that works for me, I photocopy it and I scan it in and I email to my team. And you know, you're going to start to live, eat, and breathe IN.FORM. Every magazine article you read, every blog post, every recipe. So the best investment is a 3-ring binder and a 3-hole punch. And you just punch these things and you stick them in your binder, and at first your binder is messy, and then you realize you start to categorize it into modules. This one relates to mastering my food environment. This one relates to sugar. And you just start to share with your group, and that's how you develop different tools that you can work with one another. And then I have the best team ever where everybody has some strengths. So the girl that's really savvy on the computer that can do all this data entry, I just ask her to type me up some things and she does. And another girl who's really good about, you know, talking products, she'll put us together cute little PDFs on, you know, the top ingredients in our product line. Or so just maximize everybody's strengths. And you know, we've got one girl who's an excellent cook and loves recipes, so she started us up a page full of recipes to share with our participants. So you're not going to be good at everything, but once you're not alone and you start to develop coaches underneath you, you guys can pool all of your thoughts and materials and really get a rockin' program going on in your area.
Great. Thank you so much. Those are some great tips there. Dale or Tess, do you have anything you want to add?
I think Judy, I learn from Judy every time I listen to her. She's definitely very skilled in this area, and we are so blessed, all of us, to have her be willing to share all of the hard work that she's put into developing her business and her coaches. So Judy, thank you so much. I always appreciate listening to you. For me, coming from a practitioner's standpoint, that's an area that I still am actively learning and working with. I do have some coaches underneath me, and I do spend some time. I try to set up some training time with them. I ask them to let me know what types of things do they feel that they have weak points in regards to some of the health education. So we might have a class, basically a get-together, a little coffee clutch, if you will, and I help answer their questions and offer them some more resources to expand their confidence in that area. Together, we're learning to work more on the business building aspect too, and I find that I learn from my coaches as much as I believe that they learn from me in different capacities, so I'm always open to that as a team effort. And I really start with inviting those, as Judy said, those participants that have that extra special spark that they're so excited and want to share with the world. I really start asking them to help me with a class. It might be something as simple as passing out the shakes for the evening, and the more they get involved, they begin to start to have that desire to want to do that on their own. And by helping me with little things in the class, they also start to build the confidence that they could teach a class on their own.
Great. Yeah, I think these are some awesome tips. Thank you. Dale, do you have anything you want to add there?
Well, I do. One thing that just comes to me, I think when we think outside the box, I think it's very important, because we may have coaches or people who could be a wonderful coach and they're just thinking, but how do I do that? So when we approach them and talk to them on their language, and I'll give you an example. So we have one coach that has been a coach for a long period of time but hasn't done anything with it because she just didn't know how she could fit it in. She's very busy, and as most coaches are, but she's a Zumba instructor. So when she caught the vision that she could do a 4-week boot camp, and what she said that she would bring out, of course, you know, chapter 1, and she's going to talk about exercise, she's going to talk about protein, and then also about the stress. And she said, you know, I can do that, and her charge is, she charged, so it's for 40 minutes of Zumba and 40 minutes of instruction and those 4 topics. So I think it's really important for us to realize, you know, we're the experts, we're the instructors, you are the coaches, so you're all the experts. So it doesn't have to be, you don't want to let someone think they cannot do it just because we didn't help them fit into their box. So I just wanted to put that out there because she's got a great plan. She's just getting ready to get that started, and I'm excited about that and excited to be able to help her.
Yes, Dale, I have a yoga lady that does the same thing, and she's very successful with it. She does mini groups of 4 weeks of yoga/IN.FORM, gets everybody started and interested and going on their own, and she does also teach a regular 13-week class that a lot of maybe her 4-week boot campers might fit into later down the road when they've got the time. But, you know, she didn't want to pick up another commitment to a 13-week class during the week, so she just picks up these little 4-week ones here and there around, you know, her schedule of traveling. So she travels, and when she knows she's going to be home 4 weeks in a row, she plugs in one more little group. So you can take this little business in a box and break it down and flip it upside down and teach it any way you want, as long as you're able to reach different people.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
That's all great. I utilize also for myself, and I'm utilizing this with some of my coaches, is instead of teaching that 13-week straight format, we start, especially when we have participants that haven't quite lost all the weight that they want to, but they want to continue with IN.FORM, but maybe they feel that the full 13 weeks is a little bit more commitment than they want to make, or they might feel it's repetitive. We've set up little what we call wellness talks, which are maybe a half hour at lunch, maybe they're a morning coffee clutch, maybe they're a quick evening or Saturday morning, depending on our schedules, and they're just a half-hour little approach to weigh in, some accountability discussion, talk about some of the roadblocks that might be occurring, and then just briefly review maybe one subject out of the 13-week program. And I find that to be really successful for some of my coaches that are extremely busy as well.
Great.
Yes.
So that's awesome.
Yeah,
Sorry, Judy,
we have a, I have a gal that's doing something pretty similar and very neat that, you know, just to keep them involved and to let them kind of get back on the bio tracker as needed. Here's a couple little words you guys can write down, but she has Wellness Wednesday, where it too is just a scheduled out amount of time where you can come in and pick up some tips, tricks, and get on the bio tracker and say hello again, touch base with your coach. And she's got self-care Sundays. So Wellness Wednesdays, Self-Care Sundays, you know, you can pick your day and your own little fun words to use, but it's a place where people can stay connected, pop back in, see how things are going. If they need to recommit to another class, maybe they will, or they just want to kind of reset, maybe talk to their coach and see what supplements they should add to their program. Maybe it's time for them to cleanse again, but yeah, you can definitely kind of shake it up a little bit using different methods.
Great, great. And so we've had a lot of questions come in, and I want to get to as many as possible. So we've kind of gone through our main ones here, but what I want to do is just go through these pretty quickly. I'll let one of you answer the question, and then if someone really wants to share an additional tip, that is just fine. But let's see if we can get through as many of these as possible. All right. So this question's from Deborah. She is asking, why do you think that a person that is drinking the amount of water they need in a day, the 100 ounces, but their water percent doesn't change that much? What would you think there? Does one of you want to take that?
I can take that one. I'll take it.
Great.
I'll take that. That's fine. Okay, first of all, because I drink water doesn't mean that that water always is going to go into the cell. So when I drink water, the first 4 ounces goes into the cell. If I guzzle 12 ounces at one time, 8 ounces flushed right into the bladder. So the cell didn't have the opportunity. That's just one thing. Another thing is I do not have enough minerals. And so when we talk about that, and I use a paper that says how to bring the fat down and fat percent down and the water up, because you know in the coaching, when water comes up, fat percent goes down. When fat percent goes down, muscle comes up and pounds go off. So I really encourage people to make sure they're getting enough minerals. That means enough raw vegetables, and if not, the Revive is something that they do really well bringing that in, and it helps the electrolytes and it helps the water. So there's always a reason for it, but if they're just drinking a lot of water to get their water in, that doesn't mean the cells are going to cleanse and dump out the trash and the fat holding.
Great. No, that's an awesome answer. Very helpful. So, all right, let's go to this next one. And there's kind of two questions from two different people here that I think that relate to each other. So let me just ask both of them, and then we'll have somebody answer. So Charlotte is wondering, and she asked this on Facebook, she said that has there been a lot of participants experiencing sluggish elimination after starting IN.FORM? And if so, how is it best to address that? Besides cleansing, she says that the fiber in the shake may slow digestion for some. And then Kathy, kind of on a related note, says that she felt kind of that way when she started and she did a dieter's cleanse and felt better. And maybe where does cleansing fit in, or what other supplements might be able to use to help with that elimination? I know that was kind of a mouthful, but do one of you want to take that question?
Sure, I can take that one. So we too have, most of the time when someone starts a kit, that's not usually the normal thing that happens. Usually bowels move too quickly, and we just let them know to kind of slow down on the probiotic and berberine until their bowels will adjust. But every now and then we have someone who gets this issue, maybe 1 out of 10, I suppose, and we're just figuring it out ourselves, but we feel like maybe it's the super supplemental in there with that little bit of iron could possibly be it, but we tend to maybe pull out the super supplemental and see if things move a little bit better. You could pull out the berberine and see if things move just a little bit better. That might be it. Otherwise, we make sure that they're getting that water in. Maybe we'll put in a gentle herbal laxative, like gentle move until their body gets used to the new food. So a lot of the new foods they're eating are very fibrous and very binding. And as we know, the colon is, I think, the length of 2 football fields and has the square footage of 2 tennis courts. So there's a lot of sludge in there stuck to the walls. And when that starts to come off the edges, they can get a little bound up, and elimination can be kind of, slowed down. So their body's getting used to the new foods. If you have someone go from eating no vegetables to 6 servings of vegetables, 2 things can happen. They can get too loose or they can get bound up. So just maybe taking a little bit of a gentler approach. But there are some supplements that can help things along, like the gentle move, more water, maybe trying to pull out a supplement just to see if that's what's slowing things down. But each body is going to be different. So there's not just one magic solution, but getting to the bottom of what this person was doing before they walked into IN.FORM might be helpful. Playing the detective and getting to the root cause might be helpful as well.
I might, if I could, add just a little something, just a different thought there as well. Working in the realm of functional medicine, I do a lot of lab testing, and I find that more people than you can imagine have actual bacterial infections in their digestive system. And the wonderful thing about the IN.FORM program is that it was really designed to address those bacterial infections. That's part of the berberine, part of the probiotics, as well as some of the formulations in our shake mix. And so with the IN.FORM program, we don't really have to get specific and know exactly what that might be. But sometimes that sluggishness or that getting a little backed up can be a die-off from some of that bacterial infection that might be going on there. So as Judy said, just kind of slowing down a little bit, And as Dale was talking about absorbing water, if we're not absorbing water in the cells, if we are flushing a lot of that excess water into the bladder, we need the water to be absorbed in our elimination process as well to help move that along. So some of those things do just take a little time. We have to work through the process of healing that's happening in the digestive system. And in the meantime, again, like Judy had mentioned, adding in some of the more gentle laxatives can be very helpful as well.
Great. And one thing, Sandy, I might just add, one of the things that I tell people, I always say, let's pretend these cost nothing and you don't mind taking them. And I always say that because then I can tell them what is going to be a benefit to them and it's their choice. But adding food enzymes every single time, if they cost nothing and they didn't mind taking them, if they would have the support of enzymes, and if your favorite is proactazyme, that's fine, but 80% of the people do well on food enzymes, and you've got, gut issues anyway. So if they will add the food enzymes, and then we have the cheat sheet that is on the Nature Sunshine site, I believe, that lets you see some other things. And the SF is inexpensive, and it recommends 2-3 times a day. That's a little harsh for some people. The Dieter's Cleanse would be great, but I just recommend if you'll do 1 food enzyme with each meal and 1 SF, you're going to start moving that sluggishness and the gas and the backup, and they're going to have better elimination at the beginning, because what I see sometimes people get discouraged because they don't feel good. And so I feel like, if this is my only opportunity to turn this around, but I always tell them, let's pretend they cost nothing and you don't mind taking them. That lets me have the freedom of telling you. And then it's your choice. And they've heard it.
Great. Yeah, those are all some really great tips. And I know this is a challenge that we have heard from many people that they wanted to address. So I'm glad we took some good time on that. Okay, so we're running low on time. Let me ask one more question, and then we'll have a couple announcements, and then we'll try to hit a few more. But one thing I'm just going to add is, if we don't get to your question, I'm going to go back through those after the webinar, and we'll try to send you an email, or we'll respond on Facebook to the ones we didn't get to. We do want to make sure that you get your questions answered, even if we run out of time today. Okay, so this question comes from Kimberly, and this is a question that I've heard quite a bit as well. She asks, how do you handle people who aren't losing weight? They swear they're doing what they're supposed to do, but what do you do? How do you help those people? Do one of you want to take that question?
I will. First of all, I always tell people, there is a reason for everything, and so, what are you doing? Then I make sure they understand, I can help you do what you want to do, but I can't make you do what you don't want to do. So when I tell them that, then one of the things, we have the journal, so you can ask them to, journal everything and have them turn it back into you. I had one lady that kept saying, and I said, okay, this was on a Monday. I said, I'm going to call you on Thursday. We're going to go over this. And she said, I realized that I really wasn't doing what I know that the program is suggesting. She started doing it, and the pounds started coming off. I think she's lost 16 pounds now. So.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's great. And like you said, there's reason for everything, and sometimes that extra accountability of just reviewing their food journal can make a big difference as well.
I might add, sometimes
yeah, sure.
I also see, I have a current participant that this is her second time. Actually, she's been doing the IN.FORM program since August, and this is her second time through my groups, and she has lost a total of 55 pounds as of this last week. And but one of the things that was happening for her is that her metabolic age was not moving. Even though she had lost visceral fat, she had lost body fat, and she had lost over 55 pounds. And so weekly, that was becoming quite a discouragement for her. So it was really important for me to make sure that we reviewed a little bit sometimes about where she was when she had started and what state that her microbiome was when she started. And so in that case, she might have had a little bit more work to do than other people. For instance, getting her blood sugar balanced and possibly, taking care of that microbiome and getting the good bacteria balanced over the bad bacteria. All of those things play a big role in weight loss as well as that metabolic age. We're always looking at the numbers on the BioTracker, but we always have to remember that we have a whole body component happening, and when all of those changes need to take place and the body needs to come back into balance, sometimes it will take longer for others, and that can be very discouraging. But I'm very happy to report that last week at our group meeting, her metabolic age all of a sudden dropped 5 years. I thought she was going to just rocket right out of the building. It was such an exciting time for her, and the whole class really celebrated. So, you just have to keep encouraging them, but sometimes you do have to go backwards and really help them reevaluate and just see other things that could be changing for them and help them to celebrate that and keep them motivated that direction.
That's great. Yeah, these are all awesome tips, and I think that can really be a benefit to our participants. Sometimes you just got to do some trial and error and be patient. So, okay, great. Well, we're really running out of time here. Let me just go through a couple quick slides, and then if we have any time, we'll take another question or two. So one thing I just wanted to make sure that you're all aware is we just launched earlier this month a new IN.FORM cash bonus. So basically what it is rewarding you as the upline if you help other people get certified and start a group. So if one of your managers or members certifies as a new coach between now and June 30th, and that can be at an online certification, it can be at a live certification, it doesn't matter. Plus they need to start a group within 60 days of their certification date. You as the upline get $100 cash in your bonus check. So just wanted to make sure you're all aware of this really great promotion that can incentivize you to help those other people who may be on the fence about getting started as a coach. I'll go ahead and just skip over this one. If you want to, there's more information on the website, or you can download the copy of the slides to see all of the details. We also have a promotion for getting a group started this month in March. So if you start a group with 5 or more participants and submit your group photo, of course, to the portal, you'll receive a $50 product credit plus 5 IN.FORM water bottles. So these are metal water bottles. We actually just got them here at the office the other day, and they look really cool. So I'll have to maybe take a picture and put it out on our Facebook so you can see what they look like. And then you can also receive additional product credit based on your group sales. So if you reach 500 QV in weight management product sales, you get a $100 product credit. And then if you reach 1,000 QV, you get an additional $100 product credit, so a total of $250. So that's really a great incentive there, so make sure you're submitting your groups on the portal. Also, at convention, we are having an IN.FORM into action meeting. It's a completely free meeting for existing coaches. It is going to be the Sunday following convention, so April 23rd. It is really a hands-on how-to meeting. It is a 3-hour session. The instructor is Linda Lalonde, and it is fantastic. Everybody that has attended one so far has just been raving about it. So it's free to attend. You choose one of 3 times, and they're filling up quick. So there's a few seats left in the 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. The 10:30 to 1:30, unfortunately, is filled up already, and then the 2 to 5, we've got plenty of space. So if you're able to stay and attend, we would love to have you there. They're limited just to 25 attendees per session, since we want to have a smaller group to have some really hands-on experience, and you can register by calling customer service right there on that number. Just real quick, the IN.FORM challenge is ongoing. I'm not going to spend too much time on this since we've talked about it almost every call, but I just encourage you to get all of your people registered. We're just finishing up this Q1 round. It will end on March 31st, so we'll be selecting the winners the beginning of April. But if you actually get enrolled in the challenge before the end of the month, you can be in our Q2 challenge. So we just encourage all of you to get enrolled and get your participants there, and you actually get a $25 product credit for anybody. Well, any participant gets a $25 product credit just for joining the challenge and completing it. So, all right, well, we are just about out of time. I know there were a bunch of questions that we didn't get to, but like I said, I will go back and try to get responses to you all this week. So just stay tuned. I'll just be sending an email to the one that you registered with. All right, and then our next webinar is in 2 weeks, so it is the first Tuesday, April 4th. It's at 11 a.m., and we are going to be talking about the maintenance plan. So it's going to be great, so we hope you can all make it. And I just wanted to say thank you to our panelists, to Dale and to Judy and Tess. We are so glad that you're here. You gave us some really great information that we can take back and use in our groups to help our participants be more successful and to just really overall just grow our IN.FORM businesses. So thank you to you ladies. We really are glad that you were here. And then also thank you to the attendees for being with us today and taking the time out of your busy schedules to be here. So thank you to everybody, and I hope you have a great day, and we will see you on April 4th.
Thank you much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.